Hey everybody, it's Chris and Des Show. I'm Chris.
And I'm Des.
And today we're going to kind of we've had some time to process.
A recap
The
of
Oscars and stuff.
Yes.
You'll notice there's a skeleton behind us. We're inside the science lab around here. And there's that picture of DNA that's been here the whole
DNA.
time. So we've had some time to think. Let's talk about our predictions. We were
I'll have you know.
100%
100%
accurate.
We did high five.
High five, Desiree. We killed it out here, guys.
What does that now? Does that mean that the Oscars are just becoming predictable?
I think this year was one of the most predictable
really
years.
Means
There was no surprise. There was no surprises.
I don't think we've had a year that has been as predictable as this year.
I think
There's
so, too.
always something surprising, and there was nothing surprising this year.
Well, there was a surprising thing that happened,
But not in the
not in the awards. You're right
Not
about
in
that.
the awards. Yeah.
So yeah, we did 100. We were 100% right. Good job, Chris and Des Show.
Chris and Des Show. 100%.
For the 7 categories that we picked on here, we got them all right. So good job to us.
You know, and to be fair, when we were doing all the other categories when we were watching the show, we got all those right too.
Yeah, we were really good.
Like all the Dune.
We said Dune. We
got
said Dune.
everything there.
And there was like no surprises really at all.
I know.
I will say the only surprise, well, obviously the slap. We're going to talk about that in a second. But
Yeah.
And we talked about this a little bit, but the surprises were for me like, man, it was kind of boring musical. Like they added all these musical things and it was like, gosh, this is unnecessary and boring.
Yeah.
I mean, Billie Eilish sounds good and she sang well, and Beyonce's I think was pre-recorded. I don't think that was live. Do you think that was live?
It might have been live performing it, but it was not her live singing it.
Yeah.
I don't think that.
I don't think that either. And then
The Encanto guy, he was
real good. He was
really
nervous
good.
though, poor kid.
He was nervous, but you could tell he was live though, and
Right.
he was actually singing it.
And
I love the choir. I love the choir.
Okay, I heard someone say they hated the in memoriam part because it wasn't like respectful. If you've ever been to a African American funeral or something, there's a lot of music and singing, dancing as well too.
I thought it was so great.
So different cultures just have different ideas of how to celebrate. You don't have to sit there quietly and not move. And we're celebrating. I don't think that's what Betty White would have wanted either, for us to sit there and not celebrate her, and Sidney Poitier as well too. And I like that they did those, like Betty White, Sidney Poitier, like they pulled out. Not Jason. What's his name? Reitman, the guy who directed Ghostbusters. Oh, I forget his first name.
Sorry, Reitman?
Sorry, Reitman's his last name. Yeah, but I can't remember. Jason's his son, right? Oh, I can't remember now. Anyway, sorry. Maybe that's his name.
I'm not helpful with those details. I apologize.
My brain is not working today. But I like that they did that. And I like seeing Bill Murray and Jamie Lee Curtis. And who did Sydney's? Oh, shoot. Man, my brain is...
It's been a while. It's been too long to recap.
But I liked seeing that. And some people said, like, they left out Ed Asner. I'm like, well, I get that. And yeah, you're right. Ed Asner does have some...
He's more TV, though.
He's more TV. Well, so is Betty, though, too. She just is such a huge star.
She's a personality.
But I mean, Ed Asner, you're right. He's of course been in a bunch of movies, and he was also in Up. He was.
Oh, that's right.
So he
could have qualified.
For sure, he did movies, but they just chose it. There also was a link you could go to watch more. I didn't go to that link.
I didn't go either.
But I love that choir. I will say that We Don't Talk About Bruno was thumbs down. I don't know what was happening.
It just the tempo change took the energy out, and it just felt like those performers were the actual voices of the cartoon, but they didn't. I don't know. It would have been better maybe to get other performers to perform it, like they brought in
Megan
the Stallion.
Yeah.
She brought some life to the whole thing, but
sure.
no.
And then they didn't like do some awards live, like, you know, they just announced real quick after commercial. They'd be like, and the winner is, and they were already up there, you know, because they were like, oh, we're gonna cut down time, and then it was one of the longest Oscars ever, 3 hours 40 minutes. So it didn't work.
It was called the added stuff they threw in, like the big 007 thing that they added in. Christopher hated it. But there were other things that they kept adding in to celebrate, weird. Like
film in general.
Yeah, or to memorialize the 30 years of whatever movie
right.
it was.
And they were trying, and I actually really liked when they brought like the Pulp Fiction cast back and like these different casts together. That was nice, but it was long. Whatever that they were trying to do to cut time did not work.
No.
And then, of course, the slap. Now, there's been a lot of talk about the slap since then. Chris Rock even did his first stand-up after that, and he did a whole thing of like, I'm not going to talk about it because I'm still processing. Also, I wrote a whole show before that happened that I need to perform right now, so it's not like the last minute.
But he got like a 2-minute standing ovation at the beginning and the end, I think.
He's been handling it, I think,
really
classy. Which is really good. Will Smith apologized. And people are feeling however they're feeling about it. And there's some people who are like, I'm so glad he stood up for his woman. That's what Tiffany Haddish had said. As a black woman, I like to see some people stand up for it. I get that point. At the same side, like, we don't want to be condoning violence, obviously. Also, we don't want comedians to think like it's okay. Like, we're telling the audience and people, like, if anyone says anything you disagree with, go up and slap them.
Hit them.
We don't want that to happen. We don't want free speech to go away, right? And so I think that's a really dangerous place to be in. And the Oscars have, man, whoever is the PR for the Oscars, first of all, they just need to fire everybody and then hire some new people.
I guess.
But their first thing was like, we don't condone violence. And everybody was like, yeah, you do. You let him slap him. No security stopped him. They didn't make him leave or anything. You just let him continue to sit there. So
I guess they asked him to leave. Like I don't know if it was the Oscars or if it was LAPD, but
I think the Oscars asked him
to leave, and he refused, and so they didn't do anything.
They're like, oh, okay. Like, is that how it works now? That the police tell me, like, you need to leave? I'm like, no. And then they're like, all right, Chris Salazar, you don't have to leave. Or is it just because he's Will Smith? That's what people are saying, right? There's a privilege thing there, right? About like, okay, well, I'm not a millionaire, so the police don't really care if I say no. They say
so. Now it's all like under investigation. And they're gonna.
I will say it helped the ratings for sure. People went back and
anything was going to help the ratings. Anything in any capacity of positive is going to help the ratings. The ratings are horrible for the Oscars.
I will say, even though the performances weren't as good as maybe they could have been, I will say, good job, Oscars, on nominating people. At least people want to tune in to see, like Beyonce and Reba McEntire sing, and you have different groups who want to watch those people. Instead of sometimes they're like, this independent documentary, this guy wrote this only techno song to him. They're like, best song. I'm like, what the heck? Who wants to hear that song? Nobody. And I get it. Maybe it was a really good song, but at the same time, like, if you want people to tune in because you need the money for ads, then you need to bring Beyonce. That was a smart choice, actually.
To open the whole thing, that was
smart choice.
Smart. Yeah.
So I think overall, it was a predictable Oscars winning wise, but then the slap obviously was something we weren't anticipating. I don't know. It was kind of a little lackluster in a way, I feel like, as an overall Oscar ceremony. And it made me like Chris Rock more.
Absolutely.
And Wanda Sykes was mad. She was one of the hosts, and she was very upset about it, about that they let that happen. She said they should have, who cares what Will Smith wants? He should have left. As a comic, she's like, are we allowing this, condoning this now, where it's like, anytime someone says something, a joke you don't like, now we can be physically violent towards them. She said that was wrong. I will say, we rewatched, Amy Schumer had such a good comeback to that, of like, I've been getting out of that Spider-Man costume. Did something happen?
Did I miss anything?
The vibe, it's a different vibe in here now.
She's brilliant. That was brilliant.
It was smart. Without addressing it, she didn't say anything about Will or anything about Chris.
It was just like, there was no other thing I think she could have said that would have been as nice as that.
Is it different? Something different?
Did something happen?
That was a really good response to it, definitely, for sure. So, yep, that's what we thought. We just wanted to share that. We wanted to say congratulations to us, yay. How many did you guys get right?
Did you get it?
How'd you do? Let us know how you did.
Please.
And thanks for watching. We appreciate it. Thanks for commenting. I've been trying to comment back on every single post. So
we love interacting. We love interacting with you.
We love that. Yeah. Oftentimes, if you see it say like, "Well, I really liked it," usually is me. So I'm like, Chris, really liked it," because I'm like, they don't know who was saying what.
Yeah, absolutely.
So we'll try to make it. If it's I, we'll try to distinguish who.
There you go. Exactly.
So let us know what you thought. about the Oscars, and how many you got right, and like and subscribe and tell your mailman.
Do all the things.
We're gonna tell this guy back here to liven up a little bit. He performed. We don't talk about Bruno also. So let us know what you thought. Bye.
Bye.